Hi, I'm Mrs. Comrie, and I'm going to read the very first part of Everything Beautiful is Not Ruined by Danielle Young Ullman. Dear Mom, thanks. Really. I can't wait for this tiny excuse for an airplane to take off into the sky and then deliver me into the dismal middle of nowhere, into the stunning, unspoiled lap of Mother Nature, I mean. I'm not scared, in case you're wondering. It would be much scarier to be looking after small children or backpacking in Asia unsupervised, like some of my friends. This? It's just trees and lakes, the great outdoors. Nothing to worry about. Though I gather there will be backpacks, excursions from base out into the wild, exotic bugs and plants, singing bunk beds, roasting marshmallows, weaving friendship bracelets out of twigs from the forest, awards to those who swim in the coldest water, learning to fish, and so on. I know you think I'm going to hate it and wimp out and maybe quit, and if that happens, you'll consider me to have reneged on our deal. But you underestimate me and my determination. You see, I have a new, positive attitude, and I'm not going to continue all huddled, wounded, and tragic like I have been the past few months. I'm done with that. I'm going to have a fantastic time. I'm going to make new friends, connect with my inner nature girl, become transcendent and tough, and ready for the apocalypse / adulthood / other unforeseen crappy stuff, and I'll have fun. And then you'll see that I'm capable enough and strong enough to make decisions about my own future. My future. After everything we've been through, I shouldn't have to prove that to you. I shouldn't have to prove anything. But I said I would, and so I will, setting it all down here in this journal you gave me in your one and only effort to encourage me to process things. 100 journals. That's a lot of processing, Mom. I'll tell you this, I'm not turning into a touchy-feely journaling person. These are just letters. And it's just camp. How bad can it be? Wow. It's been quite a day so far. Quite an interesting start to this vacation of mine. Remembering that this is supposed to be fun, let's see if I can give you the highlights. First, there was the plane ride. Right away, I got such a visceral sense of my mortality. That's probably the very reason they use such a small airplane, so you can really feel the air you're flying through, each harrowing pocket of turbulence, causing you to convert to every religion you can think of and make all kinds of promises to the various gods therein about how much of a better person you will be if only you can live through the experience. Mission accomplished. Then, when you finally feel the earth under your feet, despite everything being, let's just say, different from what you expected, you're so freaking grateful, you just want to roll around on it and cry. From happiness, of course. Always happiness. And maybe it's also for bonding purposes, because even though I hadn't worked myself up to the making friends thing yet, I ended up talking to the very hairy, very smelly, not that the two are necessarily connected, but in this case, maybe, person beside me when it got too bumpy to write, just to distract myself. Based on first and admittedly shallow impressions, I will confess that I didn't like him. But it's important to move past preconceptions about people and approach them with an open heart in order to see the true person inside, right? The true person inside this very hairy dude revealed himself quickly when I inadvertently grabbed his arm on our shared armrest during one of the more upchuck-inducing air pockets. I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and removed my hand, and he said with such a friendly smile, followed by a downward glance at his lap, "Any part of me you want to grab? I'm okay with it. Grab away, babe." I so love being called babe, and am only a little traumatized by the mental imagery his leering prompted. The point is to be making friends, even if they are disgusting, stinky, hairy perverts on the surface. Next, we landed. Enough said. Actually, I could say more. We landed in a field and it took 3 attempts. 3, Mom. The first 2 times our little single-engine Cessna approached and got heart-stoppingly slow and then jerked up at the last minute, barely clearing the trees, and in fact snapping a few of the higher branches on our way. I'd have thought that would be frowned upon as our first act when entering nature, but maybe being terrified at the start is supposed to be part of the fun? Certainly got my attention. On the 3rd attempt, the pilot actually said, Field's a little shorter than regulation, but we got her done. Hang on tight, over the headsets. Reassuring, no? And then we bumped and jerked and shuddered our way forward, almost. I'm not kidding, slamming into the trees at the far end. Oh, did I mention there wasn't a runway or an airport? Nope, just a very bumpy, not quite long enough field. Finally the plane was still, and the pilot crowed, "Cheated death again!" and laughed like a maniac. I, pale, wobbly, and shaken to the core, stumbled out of the plane and down the steps onto the ground. My connection to the earth at that point was intense, profoundly so. By the time I looked up again, our luggage and a pile of gear had been dumped, and the pilot was back in his little sky buggy. And before any of us had a chance to even think about it, and proving it's only landing and flying he sucks at, he took off in a single attempt and was gone into the blue, leaving us in the middle of God knows where, aka Northern Ontario. I staggered up, stunned and amazed to have been left so abruptly. Stunned also at the unfamiliar hugeness of the sky and the sheer volume of non-city around me, of being here at all, truly, because like so many things, it just still didn't feel quite real. Anyway, what a thrill. Love, Ingrid.